Hey, it's Rybonator, and we're going to do something a little bit different today, which is make something rather than play something.
And what are we gonna make, you might ask? And to that I answer, some of these. We're gonna make some Dungeons and Dragons dice. I've never done this, and I'm really excited to do it. I have a ton of dice because I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering and whatnot. So it's going to be amateur by comparison, but I mean, I could never hope to make something as cool as this, I don't think, but we will try. Focus back up, because we got us silicone to make some molds. We got some gold pigment and some epoxy to go in that gold pigment. And we're going to make some nice gold dice. But we also are going to make some dice at a different time for some buddies of mine. But for now, we're going to try our own brand, and that will be the gold. I think the wisest step would be to try a D6 first, because it's flat. So we'll try one of those with the mold, and then we'll ramp it up to something a little bit more complicated, like a D20. The D20 has grooves for all the numbers, so I don't know if that'll work, but I know my friends don't like pips on their dice, which are the dots rather than the numbers, so I'm hoping the numbers still come through, but we will try it and go from there. So if you're going to be a part of this channel, you got to know we like gold. That's our thing. It's the #1 color. That's why they use it for Olympic sports, and because it's a rare mineral. So we're going to base all of our stuff off of my Paladin playing dice for the blue and gold. We'll use that as the kind of base for everything to go off of. It's the nice numbers, they're well defined, and I've kept this dice in good shape. So here's all the materials we're going to use for the project. I've got 2 D6s of the same style, one's silver and purple, one's blue and gold. This is all that you'll need to follow along if you end up doing it the same way that I'm going to do it, which is trying for the first time. So the reason I'm using 2 right off the bat is I'm going to glue one to the bottom of one of the cups and then pour the silicone mold over it, and one I'm just going to place in on the top of the mold and see which way I prefer. So we'll try both ways out. Okay, so I'm doing this in the bathroom because I think it'll just be easier for how I want to do it. I changed to a blue dice because I realized I didn't want to accidentally lose my Warlock dice if the super glue sticks to it too hard. So that's already super glued down just with some Gorilla Glue, and we'll use this one in a minute. But here's my thinking, because I don't have any cups that have like accurate measurements on them, right? With like 1 ounce or whatever. I took a tablespoon and put 2 tablespoons in, which should equal 1 ounce. I did that in this one here. And then this one I put 4 ounces, because you're supposed to use 1 part for each of these. So I figured 2 ounce, 4 ounce. Since I don't have anything to measure with, I should be able to pour something in this cup so that it looks like this, and then add the other part into this cup so that it goes to this level, and I can see the difference, right? So I can be able to tell what level things should be at. Now, that should work in practice. Let's see how it actually works. Okay, I added a little bit of food coloring so that the level was easier to see for me. And I stirred up the part A of the silicone, so now... Oh god, that flows a lot quicker than I thought. Okay. So I just did the rest of that by hand because it's too hard to do with one hand and film. But don't worry, honey, it comes right off the counter. Oh, please don't kill me. So for the rest of it, I'm just going to show you the final results before I combine, because it's just too hard to do. They're poured. I'm going to stir them with this here stick. This one has a little more than this one. I messed it up, but I think I calculated it to be right. So we should be good to go. Calculated, guesstimated for it to be right. But I'm going to pour this one on the one with the super glue anyway, since I think it has a less good chance of coming out. And so you can see what it looks like when you stir. There you go. But you got to make sure you stir it for like 2 minutes. So this is all you get, because I don't want to do it one-handed. Okay, so that's a pretty consistent color throughout now. And I can do this part one-handed, so you're lucky. Because what we're going to do is just pour right over the dice. And hopefully, in about 6 hours, this will turn into a beautiful D6 mold. And we only have to do this 6 more times to get the other ones. This was more work than I was expecting, and I don't think I really need to use all of this. So now this one, we're going to push the dice down in on the top. And I want the number 1 to be the thing hanging up at the top, because I want the number 1 to have no pit, because one side has to have no pit. And it was either going to be number 1 or number 6, so I figured number 1 ought to do it. And push it down just a little bit further. Sorry, it's hard to film and do it. But yeah, so that should be good. And the epoxy that we're going to use should place right up there, fill it fine, and after 6 hours we should have some silicone molds. And I didn't spill anything on the counter. Okay, so I have since changed locale for how I'm doing this and where, because I'd rather be able to sit down while I do it all. And bam, the molds came out really good. You can see, if there's some light for you inside them, you can see the number 6 down in there. This one I don't think I'm going to use because it ruins the dice if you super glue it to the bottom, right? So it's just not worth it because I want to keep my golden glue dice, but it does work. And I also realized I need way less silicone, about half, for this to really work. So I've got 6 more dice, but it did work. And I've got the blue already poured, so we're gonna pour the pink so that you can actually watch the pour this time, since I kind of messed it up last time. Okay, so now we are going to pour the pink and add it so that it is level with the liquid next to it, and I've got it high enough to where you can see it, because that is the main part of the show, right? And that is what it looks like as a all purple goopy mixture that we will pour. Okay, so we've got our 3 mixtures and we've got our 6 cups, and we're going to pour half of this goopiness into 1 cup. And it should be displaced enough by putting the dice down in there that it works out fine. We'll see if that's how it actually works, or if I totally am underestimating how much silicone I need. But those other ones are so tall compared to how little the dice actually go down in there that I just don't think that it's necessary. Okay, and now same thing as before. We're going to take some dice and pop them in like so. Just gonna press it down, and that silicone should kinda conform around it there. Excellent. Awesome. 1 down and a few more to go. Okay, so they're all good to go. I think I may have made a bit of an error though. One being this one here. The D20 is a little big and it touched the bottom, so I'm hoping that it's fine. And the other one being the D4 here. I wanted to make sure all sides were under so that you could get the numbers on all of them, but that's going to be way too small of a hole to actually get the epoxy through. Okay, so I've already poured the 2-part epoxy together. It was just too hard to do and it was clear. You didn't really get a good shot. And I'm using the flash because if not, you can't even see the liquid, right? So now we have our amazingly shiny gold pigment, which we're going to add, and supposedly less is nearly more in this. So, but, you know, we like gold, don't we? We like gold in this channel, so let's have some gold. And before you say anything, yeah, I know, I made way too much epoxy for those molds. It just kind of happened that way. Okay, so the light actually serves as a great way to see how shiny gold our dice are going to come out. And I can play around with this for a little bit because it's got a 30-minute mixing time. I'm going to do the first pour in the mold that I don't care about as much, so that way I can mess it up, and then I'll pour the other one off camera. Oh, okay, hold on. Let's look at how pretty this is as we pour it. Come on. Right in the mold. Like we were professionals doing this. And the rest of it I'll probably just pour on the foil to see what sort of plastic sheet I can get out of it and see what it looks like. There you have it. Both of them are filled up. This one is actually kind of bulging filled up, while that one's just regular filled up, because I wanted to see what the difference is if the one on the left kind of gets dented inward and this one kind of flattens out. We'll see. So after all is said and done, we got a nice set of dice actually, and they came out pretty good. They're nice and hard now, but I'm about to explain some of the problems with them. So first of all, if you take a look at the dice, it's actually really, really nice. It's got a nice gold shine to it. I like it a lot. However, it's dented on the inside. That's easy to fix. All I gotta do is add like a little drop layer and it'll be good to go. And that'll be the number 1 side on there. But it was kind of annoying, and they came out very tacky and very sticky, which sucks. I don't know how to fix that, but I looked up online how to fix it, and you might be wondering, well, gosh, Ryan, why are you doing this on your stove, friend? It's kind of a weird place to do a video. Well, they came out sticky, so I had to put them in the oven for 2 hours, and that kind of fixed it. I'm trying another thing that will hopefully make it a little bit better for next time, and that is, I have the silicone molds sitting in a 220 degree oven to do some post-curing. Because supposedly the chemicals in the mold sometimes react negatively with the epoxy, but the only reason I think that is actually true is because the top of all the dice that were in there, the flat side, was all really, really smooth. It came out really nice, but the inside is what kind of got messed up. It was all sticky and tacky and it felt like gum. But when I took it out of the molds, they still retained their shape, but they were just kind of like they'd stick to your fingers and stuff, and that's not good. So I threw them in the oven, and after 2 hours, they kind of cured a little bit more, and they're good to go. They work fine. I'm just going to add a little bit more to them, and they're done. So I'll do another video where I'm going to do a very special set of dice for a friend of mine. So thanks for watching. Enjoy these beautiful caramel gold dice.